Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. I wanted to sort of discuss something that has kind of come up within my collecting experience. So, there's a book that I really, really want, and I have two choices, and both are the same price. So, one is a restored copy, and it's a 5.0, and the other copy is a 1.0. Like it's just, and so it's a blue label, but it's a 1.0. The 5.0 looks really nice, actually. It looks better than a 5.0 in some ways, but it is restored and it's moderately restored, so it's actually got some restoration to it. But they're both the same price. Um, Now, the question is, which which would you rather, a higher grade restored or a low grade unrestored blue label? And I'll give you another example. So that's an example that I'm facing, and I'd love to hear people's comments below which you think I should choose, because I'm going to make a decision this week. And I need your help. I need your help. So please put the comments below which you think, the blue label or the purple label. You tell me. I want to give you another example, something that just happened. I actually was so sad because I missed out on it. Um, there was a Batman #1, and it was in a 5.5, I believe, and it sold for $60,000 on my comic shop. Now, I would have loved to pick that book up, but I think it sold within like minutes, like literally minutes of it being listed on my comic shop. So, obviously other people felt the same way, but it was restored. It was a restored book in a 5.5. Now, if you look at $60,000, what does that buy you in terms of a blue label? Well, in terms of a blue label, it actually gets you a 0.5 grade, and it gets you, you actually have to still pay another 10,000. So not only do you get a way lower grade, like 1/10 almost, but you actually have to pay more for it. So so the question is, what do you think about restored comics? Does this really make sense? Like, if I got that 5.5, Batman 1, and then I basically went through the process of just mangling it to remove all the restoration, it would probably grade out at a 2. It would not grade out at a at a 0.5. It might grade out at a 3 even. And depending on how the restoration's done, it can even grade higher. So the question is, why would you pay so much less for a restored comic than a blue label? And it's like, I see this all the time when these really high graded comics, which have some restoration, and they will drop considerably in terms of grade once you remove that restoration, but not enough to justify the really killed, like the prices just get slaughtered on those books. Like sometimes I've seen as much as 1/10 of the value to 1/20th of the value. So it just decimates the value to have restoration in those higher grades. But it's sometimes, to me, it doesn't really make sense. I mean, I see it as a good thing in some ways, because I see it as a buying opportunity. But I'd love to have that book that just presents really well. I don't like the purple label necessarily, because it is a purple label, but it just presents so much better. So my question to you, people watching this is like just a thought about it. What do you think? Would you want that higher grade restored, or would you want the lower grade blue label? And at what point does it really become that? So, for example, like if it was the case that you get a purple label, like a 5.0, and you could get the same book with a blue label and it's only a 4.0 and it's the same price, maybe then you'd go for the blue. You know what I mean? It's like a better investment in a way. So the question is, what point does it switch? And I used to use the rule of thumb that you take whatever the purple label is and knock full grade points off of it. So if it's a 5, I treat it as a blue label 3.0. But the question is that is that a good scheme? And I've looked at market research, and the grade different the price difference can actually be greater than that. So so it's kind of interesting. Um, so I don't know. What do you think about investing in purple labels? Because I don't see it as being realistic that the value can go down that much. Because as I said, you could remove the restoration, you will mangle the book. Like some of the restoration that people do, it's almost impossible to remove without really doing some serious damage to the book. But it won't damage it beyond a 0.5. Like it doesn't make sense that, as I said, like the value would go below what a 0.5 would sell for. You know, the book will still be complete. It just won't be it won't be as pretty as it was when it was fully restored. So the question is, what do you think about purple labels versus blue labels? When do you think that crossover is, which would make you want to pick up the purple label? When's the crossover when you would want to pick up the blue label in terms of grade? And what do you think about buying purple labels? Do you just see them as the purple label of death, where you just wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole because you never know how much they're worth? Or do you see them as a good potential buying opportunity because, you know, when people undervalue something, that means that there's a buying opportunity there. It's just like with, it used to be the case that foreign comics, like where it was like a price variant, would be cheaper than the American version. And it was only recently that, you know, buyers became a little bit more savvy about collecting, and then they realized that, hey, these price variants are actually printed at the same time. They're rarer than the American price variant, and they should command more money. So it used to be that you could get them cheaper. Now it's not the case. You have to pay up for them. So there's a lot of things like that where the market can kind of swing on things. As I said in previous videos, purple labels used to be the same thing. Before there was a purple label, actually, like before people started putting their books in slabs, restoration was very, very common. If you look at most of the kind of key issues for the Golden Age, a lot of them have restoration. Like you'll see like maybe a third of the whole census will be restored grades, where they just, you know, if you have a Batman 1, you want it to present like the book that you just spent $1 million on. You're gonna put something into it and make it look a lot better. That used to be the way people thought. Now they would never do that. But the point is, when that was the norm before, and there was a lot of books that got restoration. So the question is, you know, do you think that market will maybe switch over in the future, where it'll become a situation where, you know, those restored books will start regaining their old value? So just a bunch of things to think about, just sort of me kind of just thinking, brainstorming about my personal dilemma, because I have two choices, this 1.0 and a 5.0 restored. So I'm debating about which one to pick up, because I don't want to pick up something where it's in the potential difficulty to sell later, and, you know, not get the same value for it. But I do like books that present well. So that's my dilemma. I just brought it to you to help me figure out what to do. And I'd love to hear your opinion. So thanks again for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and bye for now.